Welcome to the Business Growth Podcast. Today I'm here with Pat, who has over 14 years experience in public accounting and is the partner of Apple and Odom. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Leonard.
So tell us a little bit more, what do you guys do?
So we are a full service CPA firm. We're headquartered in Charleston, South Carolina. We do everything from tax, your monthly accounting, assurance work, business valuation work, and everything in between. We work with clients across all industries. We don't have a niche per se, but we are heavy on the real estate side, the construction. We have a lot of physicians. Really, any small business client that's looking for tax help, we're here to help them, and we really enjoy that. And that's in a nutshell what we do.
Okay. And then I know when we spoke last, it sounded like having a good work-life balance was something that was really important to you guys. You said you aim to have people work only, I think it was 36 hours a week. Can you explain a little bit more what kind of is the reason behind that and a little bit more what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. We, my partner Derek Apple, and I, we really feel, our goal. We started our firm November 1st, 2023, so we just came on, 2 years. And when we started our firm, we really wanted to, have a firm and have our staff and ourselves be able to get back to enjoying public accounting, but also having time for our family. I have a young family, my partner does as well. And so as part of that, we really wanted to build our firm where we have a smaller client base, but also our staff can work 36 hours a week. And that's even during tax season. So we don't require any overtime. We don't require working on Saturdays or Sundays. We're very flexible when it comes to the time. We prefer people work 8 to 5, but that doesn't people can flex and do different work hours that benefit them. And we really seen that translate to great employee retention so far. And I think our staff and our team just really, they focus better and they're more productive during the time that they're working.
hmm Okay. And then have you found that impacts performance, I guess, in terms of like doing all the work that needs to be done, especially competing with some other firms that maybe their employees do work more hours than that?
Yeah, I always tell clients, you'd rather me be working on your tax return when it's the second, third, fourth hour during the day versus the 12th or 13th hour. And so I really think that as public accounting as a whole, it's, there's such a bad stigma on it where you're working 50, 60, 70 hours a week, and you're just not. I just don't believe that's necessary to have a high performing team and working at the standard, producing the standard work product that we expect. And I just think by working a lower hour week, our team is is producing a higher quality work product versus if we were working 60 hours a week. The other thing I would say with that is that, the 36 hours, we really focus on scheduling our workout, right? So you may have work scheduled out for 2 weeks at a time, and you know what you have going on, right? Now tax seasons will always get a little bit crazy because sometimes we're waiting on things and whatnot, but for the most part, you kind of know what you're working on.
hmm Okay. So really just like planning out each day what you're going to be doing and like you said, quality over quantity in terms of hours, it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm. And then you mentioned when we spoke last that you've grown it over to about 950 clients so far. So can you tell us a little bit more? How did you guys go about doing that in about 2 years' time?
Yeah, so my partner and I came from another firm where we had a small book already built up. So when we started our firm, and the word kind of got out that we had started our firm, then a lot of some of those clients obviously came with us. We've also grown a lot just organically with new clients per se. And I really think it's a testament to our team and the high quality work product that we're putting out, because what we're seeing is a lot of our clients are referring us to other clients or their family, their friends. And I think it all goes back to how we have such a high quality team. They're putting out we're putting out a great high quality product, and we're just there. I think there's a difference as well, I'll say, between the main difference between us and other CPAs. When we're talking to clients, new clients, prospects, whatever, the it's always the same. It's the same conversation, but in a different way, where we're really trying to focus on their goals, because everyone has different goals at different times depending on where they are, in their life, and their whether that's their business life, or they're are they just starting the business, or is it a mature business? And so really focusing on their goals and what they're trying to accomplish, I think really sets us apart. And we hear it all the time that people, it's just, man, like, no one's taught to me like this, to really try to understand our business and how we can help them accomplish their goals.
Hmm. Okay, nice. And then so are you saying most of the growth is just referral based, or are you guys doing anything else in terms of that led to that growth?
We really don't advertise so it's mostly from our referral sources. Bankers, attorneys, financial advisors are probably the main ones, but a lot of it's just current clients. I think when they get really good service, they want their friends or colleagues to also have really good service, and so they refer them to us. We do a charity golf tournament once a year. That's about, I mean, that's about all the advertising that we do, but yeah, so it's mostly all referral based.
Yeah. Okay, nice. And then do you have a system in terms of these referrals where you ask for a referral, or if they know anyone, or like is it just like purely I guess is a word like organic, the clients just refer automatically?
Yeah, we have no system, as crazy as it
Okay.
may sound.
Yeah.
It's really, you know, after the last time we talked, I kind of looked back at our numbers, and it's on average this year we've added 36 clients per month, and so it's it is truly just, I think, clients are seeing. Now the other side of this is that, excuse me, is I think what we're seeing in public accounting, at least in the States, is that you're having these founding partners are getting older, and they're not taking on new work, right? I don't see a ton of other CPA firm owners that are my age, right? I'm 37. I just don't see we see a lot of CPAs are retiring, right? They're getting out, or they're selling to maybe private equity, or something like that, where that just changes so much for the staff and for the client. And so I think when you see all those big changes, they're looking for something new. They're looking for maybe a better product, and thankfully we've been there to pick up that work.
Yeah, that's awesome. 36 new clients a month is really, really good. And then so with that, has there come any challenges to growing so quickly?
You know, there has been growing pains, in a sense that I never expected us to grow as fast as we did. When we went out, when Derek and I went out 2 years ago. Um, it's a blessing. It's been great. We are super fortunate in that we have 10 staff now, 12 if you include Derek and I, and so it's the the which has been great. And that team is just really high quality folks, that are really doing a great job with helping us not only prepare the tax returns, but meeting with clients. All of our team are client facing. No one's hiding behind a screen, so to speak. So it's everyone is just doing a great job, and we couldn't do it without our team, honestly.
Hmm. Yeah, okay. And then so you've had some growing pains. What has been some of the growing pains that you've had with this like really awesome growth?
Yeah, so for me, it's I think I try to be sometimes not too accessible, but when I meet with the clients, all of my clients have my cell phone, whether that's good or bad, I don't know, but and so the growing pains that I'm working on is really, those new clients figuring out a way, okay, because I have clients texting me, calling me, emailing me, all these different ways things are coming in. We have a great client portal. We use Canopy. And so we have all these ways for people getting us information, and we're getting me information. And so it's really just trying to navigate a better, I think, onboarding system. I think from the clients, from internally, I think the client sees a great experience because they're getting all these touches, especially from like a founding partner. But for me, it's kind of like, I'm living off sticky notes and trying to make sure I don't forget something.
Yeah.
That's the biggest growing pain for me personally.
Right. Okay. So having a better sounds like a client management system in terms of communication, essentially.
Yeah, I think, I probably maybe need to be more disciplined on, maybe not giving out my cell phone, or maybe not, maybe keeping it to like an office line or email or whatnot. But it's worked so far. Obviously, some things are going to fall through the cracks here and there, but for the most part, I think we do a pretty good job with communication with our clients.
Yeah. Okay. And then is there any other areas of the business that aren't working as well as what you would like, or areas that you guys are trying to improve at the moment?
We always look at our processes. We actually had a team meeting this morning. We're talking about tax organizers, and as we're coming through the end of the year, and how we're going to implement, just any changes there, how we're going to get them out. I will say, Canopy has been an amazing practice management software for us. It's been very efficient on getting tax organizers out. You can customize them. They should probably be a sponsor of this, honestly, but they're not, clearly. But that's been a great tool for us, and it saves us a ton of time on that side. So I think, you know what we're working on right now is just going into year end. Normally this is our slower time of year, but it's really, I feel like we're just as busy as any other part of the year, which is a great problem to have. But we're really just trying to figure out, okay, we're staffed up. We just hired two more people, so we feel really good about going into tax season, and just trying to make sure that the growth that we've seen, that we're going to be able to service that, and I know we will.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So was there any specific processes that you guys are trying to improve at the moment?
Yeah, we have, besides the tax organizers, just making sure we communicate deadlines with clients. We extend probably 60% of our tax returns. Um, I would say is a probably a pretty close estimate. So a lot of our tax returns get extended, which is great because we're able to push that work off, kind of some of that work off into May, June, July in the summertime. And so we're able to, not work crazy hours during tax season is one of the things. So just it's going over kind of our client list and our client pool and what we expect to extend, but it's also looking at new clients who we don't really know yet, right?
Hmm.
It's kind of 50-50 on whether you just don't know what you just don't know yet. Um, and so we're planning more so around, okay, what's our talent staff right now? Who do we expect that they'll be able to prepare, and then just trying to do our best to plan that out. Um,
Yeah.
it's not the first year was kind of a shot in the dark. The last year was a lot better because we had some data behind us to know what to expect, and I think this year will be even smoother.
Yeah. Okay. And then how do you see the industry changing moving forward?
That's a great question. I was talking to a financial advisor the other day, and we were talking about AI and how we're using it in our respective fields. And one of the I think there's a lot of benefits to it. I think that's the future. It's just a matter of how do we implement it, and how do we use it to be more efficient. I personally don't think it will replace the CPA or the EA, or the professional. Um, but I do think it'll help with some automation. specifically around data entry, right? The things that are not as sophisticated. But I'll also say that it's and the other reason why I don't think it will replace us is because I'll have a client meeting. I was meeting with a realtor the other day, and she said, when we're talking about tax planning, right? And what tax projection for this year, what should we do, what should we do, but all that. And she said, well, I know she was dialed into her income. Obviously, that's one piece of the puzzle. You got to know your expenses. And she said, well, she said, well, ChatGPT said my expenses should be about 50% of my revenue, right? And that was the first that we saw where clients were trying to use it as a tax planning tool, right? And so obviously, you know, we did her tax projection. We gave her the estimates. We had that conversation. Obviously, that is highly the scope is very limited there because you're relying on AI, right? And from the client, so that's very much we're relying on that in that scenario. And so it's interesting because I still think I'll have clients text me things or email me things that says ChatGPT says entity structure, for example, right? And a lot of it is mostly correct, but AI is not going to know necessarily what's right for that individual circumstances and for that family circumstances, and with their goals in mind. And so I think it's been a really interesting and fun way to make things more efficient and to help with and to educate our clients too. So they're coming to us with really high quality questions that they're getting from AI. They're getting from ChatGPT or something
Mhm.
similar. So it's been really interesting. I'll say the last thing with AI, the way we use it as a firm is we have Copilot with Microsoft, and that's with just the meetings and the notes and recording that for clients, because a lot of our meetings are over Teams, and so just being able to have that recording and the note taking and being able to
Mhm.
clean it up and edit it. I mean, that saved that. I remember I would have a client meeting for an hour, and I would spend 20 minutes just going back over the notes, right, and making sure that I didn't forget something, and then I scanned it into the client file. And now it's with that you look at it maybe 5 minutes, maybe probably less, and then you just save it to the client file. And so it's been it's that for me has been the biggest uh, time efficiency that I've seen so far.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, those meeting note takers are pretty awesome. And like you said, it's crazy how much time it saves. And then I also like it has the action items at the end,
Yes,
because
yes,
usually with meetings as well, or like you would have a conversation, you'd have all these action items, but no one takes notes on it. And then you get to your next meeting, it's like, wait, has this been done? Oh, okay, I forgot about that. But those action items really help as well to know what needs to be done next.
yep. And it's scary good. It is scary good of how accurate they are. You know,
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. And then so I always like to ask, so let's say you could have a magic AI robot come into your business tomorrow. What would you get it to do and why?
great question. Um, hmm. You know, I'm not sure because there's things that we do as partners that I think more we could get more efficient. The first thing that came to my mind, but I also think it somewhat takes away from the client experience. And I think in our world that's so important for our clients. So the first thing where my mind went was, when I process a tax return and then I deliver it to the client, right? I whether it's an email or a phone call, and I kind of go through the changes, or if they owe,
Mhm.
why do they owe, if there's estimates, why, like how we came up with those estimates, why we're doing this or that, or whatever. But I feel like that takes time, right? For sure. But I also think that our clients, when they see that, they're like, man, this person really went through our stuff really, gets it, and they just that means a lot to them. So I don't know if I'd want, maybe if there's a way that I could get that to be efficient, but also not lose the human touch,
Hmm.
so to speak, because that is one area that does kind of, you get a little bit bogged down in, and obviously, like, but it also kind of fits our model because we're not running a mill, right? I'm not trying to get 20 tax returns done a day, right? That's We're not a volume shop, right? We're definitely more of a higher fee, higher service, higher level of service kind of firm. And so I think our clients, I don't know if they expect it, but I think once they see it and they feel it, they really appreciate it, and then they probably expect it after the fact. But that's a great question. I think that's the best answer I think I could come up with on the spot.
Right. So something that automates essentially the post tax
Yeah,
return meeting with the client.
yeah, yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Have you guys done much in terms of I always like AI receptionists or chatbots or anything like that with the clients?
No, no. I think we have obviously a virtual office line, but it goes to, you can pick who you want to talk to. There's kind of an index, if you will. And so I think it's important for, you know when people call you, you answer the phone.
Hmm.
And maybe I'm a little bit old school in that sense, but I just think I think, I don't want to have to I don't want to have to go through a huge long directory to try to figure out how to get to somebody. I think I'd just hang up and I wouldn't call them back. So we try to be easy to get to, I guess is
Hmm.
my point. But yeah, no chat bots, nothing like that. At least not yet. Maybe on the website. I think that could be a good use of that. I could see that being something we try to do in the future.
Yeah, yeah. I was asking because I've spoken to some other tax return businesses, and one of the things they said was like a AI receptionist because they get so many people calling in around tax time, and then as a result, the people can't do the high value task of doing the tax returns and are always on the
Yeah,
phones type of thing. So yeah, that's how I was asking.
yeah. I'll say we're very. That's a great point, and I think we're very strategic when it comes to, like, if someone new comes to me in February, 90%, I'll have I love talking to people. And maybe that's a fault, but I'll talk to you. We'll talk about your tax situation or whatever. But you're not going to be filed on time. Like, I'll go ahead and tell you right now. Even if you call me in February, like, you're going to be extended. But we'll get you onboarded. We'll get you on our system. We'll file that extension. We can do an estimate if we need to. But we're not
Hmm.
gonna, like, it's just not. I don't feel like that's fair to our current clients, to be honest. And so but we're very upfront. We're very transparent. So it's not a surprise to them. And sometimes if that's we're not always going to be the right fit for every client, and that's okay. But
Yeah.
we want to set the expectations, because the last thing that we ever want to do, you know, is, and I tell this to people all the time. I'm a business owner as well, right? I don't want surprises. I want to set clear expectations, and I want to meet those. If not go above and beyond. So, but yeah, if it's, I mean, we see a lot of our new clients are summertime, fall, winter, this time of year where they're looking for something going into tax season. So it hasn't been. So that's honestly a big thing. What we're dealing with right now is just onboarding a high number of clients going into it. But yeah, so if someone calls me February, March, April, I'll talk to you, but you're going to be extended, and then we'll do it, in the summertime.
Yeah, and that's so true with any service delivery is managing expectations. That's yeah, definitely very true. I know we're starting to run out of time here, so let's finish on what's been one of the most like valuable lessons that you've learned since starting this new practice.
Yeah, I would say, we've the we would I would say, the hardest part going into this was not knowing. I mean, we knew we were going to be successful, but we didn't know the growth. We didn't know, what to expect. We didn't know, and so the biggest lesson has been to lean on my partner, lean on my wife as mentors and my sounding board, right, to an extent, because that was the reason we did this, was because they said, hey, it's time to bet on yourself, and by doing all that, it was just, we wanted to build the firm that we wanted, we not that we wanted 5 years from now, not what we wanted immediately, right? And what I mean by that is that we set expectations for ourselves very early. We were very specific. We didn't take on every client that came to us, which was hard to do when you got to feed your family, right? And I think that's why we've been so. I think that's part of the reason why we've been able to be so successful so fast, is because we set very clear expectations, and with clients, with referral sources, kind of with everyone, to say, look, this is what we want, this is what who we want to work with, this is what we want to do, not, and the the I always joke, my neighbor, Mr. John, he's retired, Social Security, pension, fixed income. Every year he comes to me and says, Patrick, I want you to do my tax return, and every year I'd say, I can't do that because I cannot give you any value add to where it makes sense, you being on fixed income, to pay my fee that's three times what you're paying, your person now. And so I think that was very hard to do in the beginning, but by setting expectations of what we wanted on the front end, we were able to do it the right way. And now I mean, I couldn't be happy.
Yeah. Nice. That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Where
Yeah,
can people
thanks for
go
having
to
me.
where can people go to find a little bit more about you and what you guys do?
Yeah, so we're on LinkedIn. Our website is appleodom.com. We're there. LinkedIn's fine. Email is patrick at appleodom.com if anyone ever wants to reach out. Again, I love talking about tax. It's such a unique thing. So happy to talk to anyone that needs it.
All right, sounds good. Well, I'll put those links in the show notes below. You guys have been listening to the Business Growth Podcast. Until next time, keep